Alright, this will be a quick recap of how I traded the S&P 500 today. It is Tuesday, February 18th, first trading day of the week. Yesterday it was closed for President's Day. So looking at the chart here, I ended up taking 6 trades. Got cooked a little bit here on these first few entries. Then I had one with a little bit of run-up before stopping out. And then I was down 0 for 4 at that point. Had a nice little winner right here, and then got a nice little winner again just a few moments ago. So first of all, the key level I was watching today was 6136 through 6132. These 3 levels right here, these dotted lines. So 61 kind of 3-4. The original part or point of this level was support all the way back here in this range. I'm not going to zoom in there, but I had it marked as support. If you go in there, you can probably find the days when it was actually it. And then 6132, I had marked from last week. It was pre-market support, and I was watching that level on Friday, and I still had it up on my charts as it had been respected well enough on Friday. And then I went ahead and added 6136, just based on this pre-market action right here, these bounces right at this level. So that's the level I'm watching for today. At the open, we get a nice fat sell-off into this level, and this is when I get my first entry. So alright, so first entry was right here at 932. Basically all I saw for that entry was this selling start to slow down a little bit and a sign of possible buying coming in. And I went long on that. And in hindsight, I'm not happy about that trade. Definitely a FOMO trade. My level hadn't even been hit yet. We're still a few ticks above it. But it is what it is. This next trade was a little bit better. We broke that previous low of day right into my key level, start bouncing a little bit, and the setup behind, or the confirmation behind this setup was some heavy negative delta starting to form down here at the lows, and I'm looking at that as some possible trapped sellers to eventually get put underwater and fuel an upside move. And you can also see on the setup the bid defending. Here's this first entry that I got in. Probably could have waited, but now we get a retest. This bid down here defends. This entry is not too bad, but did end up stopping out on that. Got a little bit of run up, stopped out, then got in another one real quickly stopped out. Let's see, this entry we got in at 945. And not the best entry ever, especially with this ask starting to develop up here. But you can see there was aggressive selling into the bid, pretty aggressive selling, met with a buying reaction, and then these areas of heavy delta on the tape, and I was looking for that to quickly get bought up and for sellers to be put underwater. Quickly sold off and got stopped out. Definitely could have waited for a little bit better confirmation on that, a little bit more to develop, such as this next entry. So I actually added, I got in here, and then I actually added on this retest down here, and the way this looked was down here at my key levels, 6136, 6132, here we are. There's there's the original sell-off into this level, gets defended. We sell off again, and there's no bid that you can see here, but there's a bid sitting here that's invisible, defending these, and some buying pressure coming off that level. So I get in originally here, and then I add some there. With this same confirmation, seeing these trap sellers, or potential trap sellers if price can move up. So I get in that entry, we get a little bit of run up, um, 3 or 4 points up right here at this level that I need to see reclaim, and that rejection stops me out. This could have been potential red flag, could have reduced my risk here when we started to reject, but I was down 0 for 3 at this point. I was looking to make it all back in this one trade, which I definitely could have had this ran up, and I'm not in the business of predicting if this is going to go against me. I'm fine with how I managed that. It sucks to get the run up and then stop you out, but it is what it is, and it's how this trade worked out. All right, so now we're breaking this level, breaking through my key level, and I'm down 0 for 4. I'm saying, all right, this setup didn't work out. But then I start to see some confirmation just below the key level that makes me want to put on risk one more time and see if we can reclaim the level and hold for some upside. So what I saw was when we broke this level, here's all that potential trap selling I was watching. When we broke this level, there was a strange, very positive delta right here, and price was getting bought up and holding above that level. So I saw that as a sign of some potential buyer stepping in here. And if that buyer could defend, and then those sellers from earlier could get trapped and put underwater, I thought this thing could rip. And I actually added twice to this position when price was retesting the lows but not quite hitting my stop loss. And you can see as this trade developed, here's that positive delta I was talking about. You can see more negative delta develops down here on those sell-offs where those sellers are getting absorbed, and now you can see sellers are loading in down here, unable to push the market lower. So if this thing can rip up and leave a bunch of selling down here, they're gonna stop out and add fuel to the upside. And got a little bit of move eventually out of that. So this was my target right here at where this my last trade rejected. Didn't want to see that act as resistance, which it did, so I start scaling out all up in here. Can also see up at that 6140 area where price rejected previously and where it started to reject this trade, there was kind of a few different areas of this heavy red selling delta kind of evenly spaced out from each other, and I saw the buy-in into these levels start to get absorbed. So it was definitely a red flag and a sign for me to start scaling out, which was, we were at my target anyway. So I ended up scaling out most of up there, and then this one runner hit on a trailing stop. And then right after that trade, we're getting a retest of right down here to my previous, or not my just my key level from today, the bottom of this span, range 6132. Get a sell-off right into that level, and I start to see something on the tape that I like here. So there's this heavy positive delta similar to the heavy positive delta for my last trade. Last trade it was at the three O's down here. This trade it's at the 3 3s, but that's pretty much right where I'm looking for price to defend. Then you can also see sell off into the bid at this level met with some buying pressure that defends. Those two pieces of confluence are enough for me to get long. We get a nice little push, start to reject here, and my original target was just at this recent high at the 6141s, but I scaled a lot of this out early as it looked like price was going to reject here. Volume and volatility were dying out at this point. We still had been technically rejecting, the 6140 from earlier, so I'm still not super bullish. And I ended up kind of paper handing this trade. If I would have just held with my original target, I could have made a lot more money on it. But with the way conditions were developing, I definitely wanted to look to scalp. I definitely did not want to hold unnecessary risk. So I did scale out, and it did cost me some money. Yeah, ending the day 2 for 6. Yeah, gonna be down just slightly right on the day. Got cooked a little bit at the beginning. A few trades that weren't necessarily the best entries. Trade that had some run up that eventually stopped me out, and then just even my winners not having the biggest follow through. But I'm pretty happy with how I handled today. Good job coming back from a loss. Good job just trusting our thesis, trusting the plan, trusting our levels, and being confident enough to put on a trade and have it possibly hit our stop loss. It was a victory today.